What a great showcase for this city in front of hundreds of thousands of NFL fans. Our coverage of Super Bowl 46 continues tomorrow. It's good. For now, reporting in Indianapolis, Dillon Collier, NBC 25 News. Bill, the prosecution called more than 50 witnesses in all, from alleged victims to police experts. This jury has heard a lot of damaging evidence against the defendant. The ballots are being counted. Your votes will decide the future of a state representative and the next mayor of Flint. Good evening. I'm Dillon Collier. Has been canceled. Mike Brown, officially out of power for only 4 days, is tonight back in charge. We were arguing about that earlier. 89, I think is what 90. They have it. And you said if you're at 89, you might as well just go to 90.
Just go for it.
Just go for it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Kevin.
Yep.
Mitt Romney, Rick Santorum, and Ron Paul all making multiple campaign stops on this, the final day before the Michigan primary.
I should be retired, but I can't retire because there's just no money there available, you know.
Gerald heard about Romney's stop at Castor Concepts on the radio. Not the ideal way to spend his 67th birthday, but for someone who was supposed to retire years ago, he knows the election is very important.
Social Security, you got to pay tax on your income, you know, and that stuff. And I don't see my retirement in the near future.
This is a president out of ideas, out of excuses, and in 2012, we're going to get him out of the White House.
We're doing well as a family. This is a great family enterprise of running for president, and we decided to do this as a family because we all know, I mean, that's why you're here.
And then there's Ron Paul, whose late arrival in Michigan has caused a chain reaction among Romney and Santorum.
More and more people now are waking up. But people like you are wide awake, you know what's wrong, you know what has to be done. Washington is sound asleep. What we need to do is make sure they hear us and make sure they know what the message is, and that is for liberty.
Members of Romney's campaign have said a loss in his home state would be disastrous to their efforts, but the impact on the Republican Party could be even more damaging in trying to keep President Obama from 4 more years in office. On the campus of Michigan State University in East Lansing, Dillon Collier, NBC 25 News.
Toughest time of my life is trying to graduate high school. Now I lost my 15-year-old brother.
Derek Aaron's family still can't believe he was shot to death less than a week ago.
He came downstairs that morning and said, "Good morning, Mom." He had a smile, biggest, if you could see a smile. He got a Kool-Aid smile.
It was the last time Michelle would ever see her son. Derek had 8 sisters and 1 brother, many of them adopted, including Derek, who was originally from Saginaw.
He loved it. He loved everybody. His sister, them, you know how sisters rat on brothers. He'd rat on the sisters too. So it was just, they loved each other.
Saturday afternoon, Derek and 4 other teens were walking in Mount Morris Township following a rec league basketball game at the Urban League of Flint. One of the other boys, 17-year-old Mark Leverett Jr., was carrying a gun. The 5 teens may be the only people who will ever truly know what happened in front of this vacant home on Parkway. Leverett contends that the shooting was accidental, that the gun went off as he tried to pull it from his waistband. Aaron's sisters disagree.
Y'all took my brother's life, and it's so hard for us. My 8-year-old sister had to watch him on his deathbed.
Leverett is now facing a murder charge, which could be dropped to a lesser charge once police finish their investigation. Devontae Powell is the executive director of the Youth Opportunity Corporation, a Flint youth group that both Aaron and Leverett belong to.
I don't have no clue of what happened. You know, it hurts because I don't know anything. And, you know, I wish I was there so I could have stopped it.
Through tragedy, Derek's family presses on.
That's what I'm going to do, live for my brother, because he would want me to.
In Flint, Dillon Collier, NBC 25 News. The city of Saginaw could eliminate its police force and rely on the county and state as soon as July 1st. Good evening, I'm Dillon Collier. Thank you for joining us. Rural residents in Saginaw County who rely on the Sheriff's Department could see increased response times. NBC 25's Kevin Uselman got reaction and joins us in the studio with more. Hi, Kevin. All right, thank you, Kevin. Saginaw County Prosecutor Mike Thomas announcing murder charges in connection with a deadly home invasion in Saginaw Township late last month. Quintel West faces close to 24 felony charges, including first-degree murder, armed robbery, and assault with intent to murder. 36-year-old Jeffrey Kuhlman was shot and killed during the home invasion on Luella Avenue in the early morning hours of May 30th. A second victim, a 43-year-old man, was hospitalized. West scheduled to be arraigned tomorrow. Bullets fly in broad daylight in Saginaw, beginning a second week of gun violence that has the community looking for solutions. Monday night before 6 o'clock, neighbors in the 1300 block of Casimir say they heard what sounded like firecrackers. Some ignored it, thinking kids were playing, not realizing a 19-year-old had been shot 3 times. Last week, an 11-year-old was shot and killed, and a 4-year-old shot and injured in separate incidents. In Bay City, Jeff Julian has been convicted of first-degree murder and moving a body in the 2010 death of his girlfriend, Lynn Spicer. Julian's brother, Craig Julian, was convicted of both crimes last June. He is currently serving a life sentence. The brothers were accused of murdering Spicer, then burying her body in a backyard in August 2010. Sentencing for Jeff Julian has been set for July 16th. He is facing a mandatory sentence of life in prison without parole. An isolated severe storm hit the town of Hemlock in Saginaw County around 4 a.m. Mark Torgrosa estimates winds of 65 miles per hour, which caused trees to fall. We spoke with one resident tonight who woke up to part of her landscape in her living room. Chief Meteorologist Mark Torgrosa joins us now. 65 miles an hour, really? Didn't seem that bad of a storm.
Well, they're very isolated yesterday. In fact, that was the only one that I really had any reports of around the area. So we definitely are looking at much.
The heat we had over the weekend felt like someone was like pressing against you when you went outside. It was like a heavy heat, kind of.
You have really turned into a wimp since you've moved up here from Michigan.
I've always preferred the dry heat. Yeah, I've never liked the humidity.
It did start to get humid by the end of the weekend.
Yeah, all right, thank you, Mark. And welcome back. There could be a new sports complex coming to Frankenmuth. The Frankenmuth Youth Sports Association is proposing a $7.45 million facility covering 47 acres. The site would include a 60,000 square foot indoor recreation space and 16 outdoor playing fields. We caught up with one resident building his new home right next to the proposed site. He's excited about the possibilities. The FYSA is hoping to raise $3 million in donations, grants, and awards, and will ask the city for the remaining money in a bond request on August 7th. After a month-and-a-half delay, the Shiawassee Wildlife Refuge Auto Tour opens to the public on Friday. Visitors from far and wide come to the refuge year in and year out to see wildlife up close. The auto tour is the best way to see the deer and birds that inhabit the park, but the May 1st opening day was put on hold after a pair of bald eagles nested close to the tour road. The refuge will be open daily from sunrise to sunset, June 15th through October 6th. Michigan's economy is getting a boost thanks to an Energy Department award to help companies develop new technologies. The department awarding $9 million to Dow Chemical and a $2.7 million prize to General Motors. The money will help the companies develop cutting-edge manufacturing procedures to save money and reduce energy needed to power their facilities. Coming up in sports, the Tigers continue interleague play with a trip to Wrigley Field, plus who's punched their ticket to the high school semifinals in softball and baseball. Jamie Edmonds has the answer next in sports. Celebrated by eating kebab sandwiches. Went to Europe after I graduated college in 2005. Ran out of money about halfway through the trip, so I had to live on doner kebab. That's all I ate.
Really?
3 meals
So
a day.
you had a doner kebab?
I've had about 1,000 doner kebabs. Yeah.
How much do they go for?
They're like $2 in the streets. It's like the cheapest thing you can buy in Europe. They're okay for a while, and then you grow tired of them, and you plan your next trip to Europe when you have a little more money because you don't want to fall into the doner kebab diet.